revolution. We're like soldiers of a revolution. There's a war going on in here. Gotta find us a better solution. Just let it all hang out. Say something real. Say something real. Hey, girl. Say something real. Won't you say something real, girl? Say something real. Do-do, do-do, baby. Say something real. Say something real. Say something real. Say something real.
Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show this morning. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. You're listening to Say Something Real. Good morning, Kay. What's up, bro?
Who that, 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 trying to get up with my crew.
Seriously, it just can't be good morning.
Why?
Like, y'all, do y'all have that person when y'all going to work? Y'all be like, here we go with this.
He be like, why the hell you keep talking to me?
I mean,
like,
everybody that's on your way to work, or you remember when you used to go to work, and you see everybody getting out the cars. Hey, good morning. Hey, girl. Hey, bro. How you doing this morning? And you see that one dude, you be like, here we go. Keon, you the here we go dude.
Yeah, he work in the back by himself. You Negroes always over there messing with him. He like, why don't you take your ass to your station? Leave me alone. Early in the morning, from late in the evening. He like, Carly, you gonna notice these people. They're savants. They're like magical Negroes.
What you making my nose?
You know what I'm saying? They do
so,
their thing.
Oh my
somebody
God.
always in their face want them to do it
You
their way.
get on my nerves.
Their way. You know, like, no.
You get on my nerves.
Go ask Ken. Oh man.
Oh my God.
He's the fixer. She's the fixer. You know, they just always, you know.
I can't with you. Okay. Hey Carvey, good morning, bro. How you doing this morning? Don't be excited too, because I ain't say young Carvey. I know you think I'm letting it go. I'm not letting it go. I'm not. If I can run it up to May, I'm running it to May. All right, family, a lot to get to this morning, but I just got to take a second. We are in the process of early voting, and we got the main locations open. I'll run through that again. I have voted already this week, or this period. I voted already, but there was some continued conversation about these referendums, and so particularly, a conversation that came up yesterday regarding NPS. Folks have been listening to shows, on both our dial and, up and down the dial as people are out talking about the referendum. And there are a couple of things I think that we need to be clear on, because there are people that are out pushing information in relationship to the actual increase in hit to property taxes. And, NPS, even on their handout that they have used, and I'm looking directly at it, it says, how would the referendum impact me? And then on the section where it says impact on taxes, NPS's plan would secure as many resources as possible for students while being mindful of taxpayers. A $100,000 home would see an estimated tax impact of $216 in the first year to unlock $252 million for students over 4 years. So there have been people that have been telling folks that the tax would only impact your property taxes for 1 year. That is not true. Stop that.
Shame on you.
That is not true. You are not impacted for 1 year. So first I had people telling folks that you had to be in a house that was like 250,000, 200,000 or more for it to impact you. No. A house that's $100,000 home. And that's just the example. I don't know that this increase starts with houses that are valued at 100,000 or more. If you own a home, you're not going to be exempt from this property tax. So we need to get people that's just being a whole lot more forthcoming with the community. And again, I'm not trying to tell you how to vote one way or the other, but I do need you to have the best information. This is not a one and done tax hit. It's not. One of the things that they even say on their flyer, after year 1, the tax rate in relationship to the referendum would stay steady.
After year 1.
So what does stay steady mean? Does that mean it would go away? You only pay this one time and it's over? Because if that's the intent, then that's what the language ought to say, as opposed to in relationship to the referendum, it would stay steady. What does stay steady mean?
Kind of level.
Does stay steady, does somebody killing me? Does stay steady mean that, it goes back? It's a one and done? Because if it's one and done, people ought to say that.
That's not steady.
That's not stay steady.
Steady on the case. Regulated. It's going to be here for a minute.
So when folks say it's only going to cost me $216,
every year.
No, some folks are saying you're going to pay $216 one time and then that's it. That's not how this reads.
No.
So I'm hearing from somebody. Somebody was saying, I'll send you the facts and we will be on Friday to talk about the data, facts without bias. But answer this question for me since you're listening. Is the $216 a one and done hit to taxpayers? So after I go up and increase, and this is again, only if your home, the example provided was $100,000, you would pay that $216. But if the house is valued at more than $100,000, then that amount is higher than $216 because this is a percentage. It is calculated on the value of your home. And if you are under $100,000, are you impacted as well? Let me see. Somebody else says, good morning. Thanks for the information. We get taxed to death in Milwaukee. Wheel tax, Milwaukee Brewers tax, MPS tax, 2%. Lord help, Lord help us. I mean, we just got to be as clear as we can with people. So when folks walking into the room, they understand. Is this really a $216 tax? Is this something for a $100,000 home? Because if the house is worth more than $100,000, the tax is more than $216. And is this one and done? Or is this over the course of 3-4 years? And I'm really going to pay about $800, $1,000. What are we actually telling people? And I'm looking at the sheet from the referendum, about the referendum on the MPS website. And again, that's their language. Their language says impact on taxes. $100,000 home would see an estimated tax impact of $216 in the first year. It does not say for people that have been telling folks that you got to have a house worth so much money to be impacted. That's not true, because we don't get to, in the state of Wisconsin, only hit certain certain homeowners. Everybody has to be hit. And how do I know that? Because when we were trying to introduce legislation similar to what's done in a lot of southern states that freezes property taxes for seniors, so people 65 or 70, that freezes the property taxes for them. And, the state told us that, no, you cannot. Somebody said my home is a $200,000 home. So yeah, I'm at $432 in property taxes. But yeah, the state told us you'd have to change the Constitution to be able to do special preference type tax policies for, members of the community. So if you wanted to protect seniors so that they don't get priced out of their homes when they retire and property values continue to go up and they eventually get priced out because they can no longer afford the property values, I'm sorry, the property taxes, because their income is now fixed. Southern states, many of them have figured out ways to address that. In Wisconsin, it requires a constitutional change. So this tax rate increase applies to everyone. Okay, so let me see. Somebody just sent me a link they wanted me to look at. This equals $2.11 per $100,000 of assessed value, or $425 a year for the average MKE homeowner. So they're saying the average MKE homeowner is going to see $425. That's in an actual document, from City Forward Collective that talks about this, because the average homeowner in Milwaukee's home is valued at more than $100,000. And so as MPS has chosen to talk about this, of course, it seems like they took the lowest denominator, the 100,000, to sell people. So you sitting here going, well, $216 is not the end of the world, but the average homeowner's home is worth more than $100,000. So you are particularly, so you are potentially talking about what City Forward says is about $425 a year for the average homeowner. That sounds different to people than $216. If City Forward Collective's information is correct, and that the average homeowner in Milwaukee would pay $425 a year increase in property taxes, that sounds very different than $216 a year. See, that's that piece. When you're talking to people, you got to be able to have folks that's going to force them to drill down on what they telling people. And you got a number of state elected officials, that are out championing the referendum. And some of these people, to me, don't clearly understand what it is they're asking taxpayers to do. Now, there are taxpayers that will be like, you know what, I'm still fine with it, Michelle, because I value, what we are trying to do here, which is to get more resources into the hands of our students. So then the other part of that question has to be, tell me how that shows up on students, because when they talk about we're going to advance education classes, mental health supports, that they said these programs are at risk of being cut. So does that mean you're just going to be able to prop up existing programming, or am I getting new programming? I just am concerned about how information is being given to people. So it says, and this is again on the MPS website on their flyer, how has MPS expanded programming? They talk about since 2020 what they've done. And then, students benefit from, and then they list these whole things. But again, this refers to 2020. So are you saying that this money is going to be just so they can prop up existing programming? I know I had heard on some programs, they were talking about, increases in music programs, arts programs. I thought I heard somewhere about teachers' raises or salaries. I'm just saying, I would love for somebody to just actually just lay it straight on the table. I would love for somebody to say, no matter what the value of your home is, the additional property tax you're going to pay will be 1.3%. So I can calculate that myself. How much is the additional, what's that number? We're asking them to put a 1.3% tax on all property, owners. Because if we just do the math real quick on 100,000, let me see if I can do it real quick and see if I can come up with the percentage on my own. So let me see if I remember how to do this. No, you divide it. 2.11 divided. Hey, I got to do it. I know. So if my math is correct and you divide, if they said it's on average $2.11, and if you divide that by 100,000, that gets you less than 1% in a tax. It's like 0.00021. All right, so not even a 0.5%, in terms of the rate. But you want somebody to be able to break that down for you so you can figure out how this impacts you. The other thing is to make sure that you are telling people this is not a one and done tax. You don't pay it 1 year and never pay it again. Again, if that's the case, spell that out better. But the very fact that it says a home would see an estimated tax impact of about $216, $100,000 home in the first year, to unlock this money for students over 4 years. After year one, the tax rate in relationship to the referendum will stay steady. What does that mean? What does stay steady mean? Because here is a great way to better and more effectively communicate. People understand this is a one-time tax. They don't necessarily understand what stay steady means. It's one thing if I think I'm about to hand you 216, 435, 434, whatever the numbers are, one time. I can live with that. But if you're telling me that's what I'm getting ready to do over the course of 4 years, it's a different conversation now. Got a caller on the line. Let me go to the phones. Hey, caller. Good morning. What's happening?
Good morning, Michelle. And I'm glad you really dove into this and trying to break it down and really get people to understand. Most homes in central city are not $100,000. Granted, some of them should be, but they're not marketing them like that. We're really getting cut up when it comes to selling our homes because the area we live in. But I'm gonna tell you this much right now. It's some people that have sold their homes in the last month that did get $100,000 for their house. And it should be clear. Don't tell me it's a one-time thing and then say the next year it'll be studied. Now you're double talking. Don't double talk me. Tell me what it's going to be right up front. And then tell me if my home is, you have it appraised from the city at $65,000. Okay, that's not $100,000, but everybody's going to be taxed. So it ought to be a percentage, like you're saying, so that people can understand and comprehend what's going on. When you do all this dating around, that's what makes people distrust you. And you can't blend all this real tax, this tax. Everybody's hitting us left and right. And I feel that. But who's going to suffer at the end of the day? Just like you can tell us what you want for that money, tell us what you're going to do for our children that's different. And if I'm understanding something, did they find out from doing, I don't care what organization you're in, you ought to be audited and see if this money is going into this pocket and then it's staying there. Is this money being allocated to this and it's going there? Is someone losing their job because, or did that have something to do with the city or where money was mismanaged?
Are you asking a question?
Yeah, because somebody said somebody's going to be leaving at the end of the school year because of something. I don't know if money wasn't spent like it was supposed to. Am I getting this confused with some other city thing, or I don't know?
Well, I know in Glendale they had an issue with a school board and what was happening, and somebody, was not. They weren't stealing, but they really didn't know what they was doing as like the accountant or the bookkeeper for the district. So that was Glendale. That was not Milwaukee.
Okay. You don't get a free pass because you don't know what you're doing. And I have another question. When you be a comptroller, are you supposed to have some required credentials? Or do they just let anybody, like some people that are judges down there just have a high school education somewhere? And some are required to be licensed, accredited lawyers. So where are we with a comptroller? How do you come in and get this job?
So in order to be a, like you said, the states and state statute can, because these are elected positions, they can make some of those determinations. So in the city of Milwaukee, you have to have a law degree to be a judge in the city of Milwaukee. but that may not be the case all over the entire state. I need to go back and look. And I know that other states do it differently, as you pointed out. Some states, you don't have to have a law degree to be a judge. I remember, famous cases out of New York where smaller communities, the guy was a plumber and he was a judge too. And it was just like the decisions he was making was so crazy, but he got elected to the position. So let me look up the comptroller position for the city of Milwaukee and see if there are any actual requirements on that. And I'll let you know after I come back from the break.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Somebody just mentioned Judge Steve Harvey. Jesus Christ. Woo! All right, family. I'll be right back. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Real talk this morning.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee. WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
March is a great time to honor women who have paved the way for their community, and Martha Love has done just that. As a founder, community activist, political organizer, and labor leader in Milwaukee County for over 37 years, Martha has shown her love for Milwaukee and passion for seeing the community thrive. Be sure to celebrate her story during Women's History Month.
This moment in women's history was brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank has more than 50 locations in the greater Milwaukee area. Visit usbank.com to find a location near you. U.S. Bank, a member of FDIC. For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something that they take well. Personally, Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't, because helping you get the coverage you want with the savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Milwaukee Allstate agent Cindy Johnson at 414-445-2558. That's 414-445-2558 today for a free quote. Home, auto, renters, condo, and more. Sydney, Nancy, and Lyndon can't wait to meet you.
Subject to terms and conditions and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois. Easter and prom is here, and graduation is near. Stop by Nick Avani's, where they have a large variety of suits, blazers, and shoes to get you right for that special day. You already know Nick Avani has the $100 hookup. You can get a suit, shirt, tie, and shoes, all for just $100. They're open 7 days a week with an on-site tailor. Nick Avani's on the second floor of the Mayfair Mall across from the movie theater. It's the place to shop for men.
Increase in taxes while families are paying more for everything from gas to groceries is wrong. Milwaukee voters should oppose increase in property taxes by nearly 30% in order to provide increased funding yet again to Milwaukee Public Schools. They've already wasted nearly $1 billion in new taxpayer funding, and now they want more? They don't even have a plan on how they'll spend it. Enough is enough. Milwaukee voters should just say no.
Paid for by Enough is Enough. Vote no.
Hey, this is School Board Director Daryl Jackson, who represents District 3 for MPS.
MPS School Board Director Aisha Carr, representing District 4.
Tune in this Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. as we discuss
all things MPS referendum and as we talk about the state of emergency in education in the city of Milwaukee.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it. La, 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 la.
Now, back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant, on 860 WNOV.
Money always made it. It feels so good in my hood tonight. All the gang just forgot about forgot about the drive-by.
Gotta get your groove on.
Before you go get paid. So tip up your cup and throw your hands up and let me hit the party.
This is how we do it.
The mic's not on it. I cannot stand you. Yeah. Oh my God.
Why else
I was looking for real.
Why else would I be singing back up with you?
So raggedy. Oh my God.
I heard you mess up every lyric.
But I actually know that. I actually know that.
If they're not in order.
Yo, come on.
Yeah.
All right.
Too.
Welcome back to the show, folks. So before we went to break, taking just a second to talk about this MPS school referendum, because I've just been hearing a number of things that do not line up, and I need our community to know as much as they can before they cast a ballot one way or the other for this. I hear it. The police? What? You trying to figure out where they go? Is it a chase? Well, there's number one.
Didn't it sound like 15 of them?
It sounded deep. But right now I've only seen one.
They got too many speakers.
Maybe they're coming in from this
no,
from somewhere
they got
else.
too many speakers.
You know, you live on. You work and live on Capitol Drive. You get all the flavor and the drama. But so talking MPS referendum again, I'm trying to make sure that taxpayers, voters are clear when they go to the polls exactly what it is they're voting for. If this is a one and done tax, if this hike to your property taxes, if it levels off. I've read something again connected to the MPS website where it talks about it stays steady, or in some cases it could decrease. So that was one thing. And then the caller called in and they talked about qualifications to be comptroller. When you run for elected office in Milwaukee or even in the state, in most cases, the qualifications to run for candidacy are very, very minimal. You got to be a state resident. You cannot be a felon that has not been pardoned or expunged or, whatever the process is. I don't see education requirements for an elected comptroller's position. So I can't find them anywhere. I'm on the City of Milwaukee Election Commission website. I don't see anything that says you have to meet X, Y, and Z requirements to be the elected to the position of comptroller. It's just like at the state, you just probably need to be 18 and not have a felony record that has not been addressed in some way in terms of expungement or pardon or something like that, I guess, with the courts. But yeah, like you got people making decisions who, yeah.
You got one on there you can ask.
Oh, no, I'm giving her to. I see him. But I'm just saying, because we talk about the comptroller. Don't nobody ask that question about the state. Don't nobody ask that question about the county executive's office, the mayor's office. There are no educational requirements to be the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. None.
Here we go.
None.
Once upon a time.
No educational requirements to be the county executive. I mean, these are elected positions. The people get to decide. And a lot of times the people don't do their due diligence about who they turning the keys over to. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle.
What's up, bro? How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Michael Harper, candidate for Milwaukee County Comptroller.
Yes, sir.
So Wisconsin statute 59.255 sets the requirements for the educational requirements, and Milwaukee County Government Ordinance Chapter 34 also establishes that. So minimally, you have to have a master's degree or be a CPA to be eligible to run for this particular position. So you do have some educational requirements that are necessary. I possess those. That's why I put my hat in the ring. And I look forward to the support of the community.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for that information and clarification, because like I said, ironically, not really clear and evident on the Milwaukee home election page. So I think people need to do a better job of, making that known. So I don't have to be able to dig through state statutes 59.2 and figure out what the educational requirements are. And people that are lay folks that are just trying to understand in general what's happening can feel a degree of comfort in understanding what the qualifications are to be able to run for these offices. I figured something needed to be in place, because if you look at all the other, but then I couldn't take it for granted, because if you look at all the other positions within that comptroller's office, there are educational requirements for the majority of those positions, because I see job postings and see what they're asking for. But I think about it again, like in the state, we can have state elected officials who have no formal education, but their staff will be more educated than the elected official in some cases. And, and then, like even your pay is determined as a state employee on education and work experience. And we have elected officials that couldn't even be actually supervisors because they don't meet the educational requirements to even do that. So it's a dicey thing when you start talking about elected positions. So I just appreciate you taking a minute to educate the community on that. Since I got you on the phone, let me just ask a question. How's the campaign going? I'm seeing your yard signs out.
Well, we're going to keep working hard. We're going to run through the tape, and we're going to keep our head down and earn the votes and become the next county comptroller.
Well, good luck to you, bruh. Like I said, I have been, somebody said Scott Walker couldn't even get Marquette to give him an honorary degree. Y'all so silly. Well, good luck to you. We'll get you back in the studio before election day and on election day. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you. All right now. And I had Bill Christensen in yesterday, and he went through his credentials, his background, and he definitely meets the requirements for that particular position. Greg Grotz, did you have a piece of lit from Greg? Keon, you still got that?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what his background is in terms of the master's degree and CPA degree information that was outlined by Mike. No, it's not on here. He just has what he wants to do. So as the Grotz for comptroller, his card says,
is he city comptroller or is county comptroller?
He's going for city comptroller. Yeah. That's the one.
That might be different from state to city though.
From state to county.
State to county, yeah. County to city, because I know he's a union guy. He was just on Be a Voice.
Yeah.
Recently,
but I still. Yeah, I can look and see. But, it's funny because as he talks about he wants to be the city of Milwaukee comptroller, I pledge to ensure that dedicated sales tax dollars are used to hire additional police and firefighters. Why is that on here? Why is the city comptroller worried about we need to hire more police and fire? See, people be on that nonsense. An independent check on Milwaukee's budget. Like, how the hell you got more police and fire above the independent check on Milwaukee's budget? See, people get their roles mixed up. And that's the part that irritates me, because now you speaking to the base. You speaking to who you think you need to help pull you across the finish line. I'm trying to figure out why a person running for comptroller believes it's their priority to make sure we got more police and firefighters. That's not your priority as the comptroller. That's not your priority. Okay, so see, I got sidetracked. All right. Yeah, it is dog whistle. Somebody said, what particular voter demographic is he going after? I mean, come on, people know. Like, I see you, bro. I see you. All right. So with that being said, and speaking of the base and people going after the base, let me take a quick second. Oh wait, what do I want to do? Let me do this quickly because I can run this real fast. I had mentioned that we were in the sentencing phase for the officers involved in beating the two black men. Hang on. I just want to pull it up. Sentenced. Okay. So what? Go ahead.
I was going to say, well, while you were pulling that up, we needed to handle something real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
The Trump economy was a disaster for Black America. He prioritized the wealthy and big business, not us, giving them tax breaks while we got left behind. Under Trump, hundreds of thousands of Black Americans lost health insurance in the middle of a pandemic. And don't forget the division, the violence, and disrespect we faced while he was in charge. Now, he's coming after our voting rights. And if he's president again, Trump vowed to be a, quote, dictator who would get revenge. We can't go back. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are working hard for Black America. They sent $1,400 cash relief checks when they were needed most. Our wages are up. We've got millions of new good-paying jobs, and the cost of insulin is capped at $35 for seniors. There's more to do, but it's clear that on the economy, Black America is getting ahead with President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
All right, family. Thank you for giving me a second. I appreciate the commercial break. So the story that I wanted to quickly just hit on, just as an update, because I really, have been insistent on following what's happening to these officers. So remember down in Rankin County, Mississippi, where I talked about the two brothers were in their home and police officers, about 6 of them, show up. And no warrant, bust up in the house and start harassing the brothers, beating them. At one point, stripped them, put them in the shower together, naked, tried to make them have some type of sexual act with one another. The brothers wouldn't do it. At some point, an officer puts a gun in the mouth of one of the young men, and the gun discharges, and this man's tongue is lacerated, so his tongue is cut. I don't know if it was completely cut off, but tongue is cut. You tear up the inside of this man's mouth. And all of this was done because somebody called 911 and said there are 2 Black men staying at a house with a white woman. That's how this started. Because I've never fully just talked about how it started. A 911 call came in, and some special person wanted to flag for the police department that there were 2 Black men. They didn't say these Black men looked like they were holding the woman hostage. It was a dangerous situation. They were robbing her. They said 2 Black men are staying with a white woman at 3240 Oak Avenue. Fictitious address. Actually, that's my grandfather's address. But that's what's happening.
Great state of Mississippi.
And so, these white officers somebody who hears the call, well, they feel the need to go over and check it in, because how dare 2 Black men be staying at the house with a white woman? Not assaulting. And from all accounts, the white woman was not there when they got there, but this self-described goon squad, because you do know you're a Mississippi boy. We don't let the races mingle in Mississippi, boy. Mm-hmm. How dare you think you should be at the house of a good white woman, boy? Mm-hmm. And they go in and they humiliate these brothers. They physically sexually assault these men. So the sentences have begun to roll in. I talked about in that most of them were looking at up to 40 years in prison. So at this point, we've had 4 of them that have now been sentenced. We got 2 more of those should be happening today. The 4th officer to plead guilty, he was sentenced to 40 years in prison yesterday. And the other guy, I think he got 14 years. I'm trying to figure out, because I was looking to see why his sentence was significantly lower. But he ended up getting 14 years. So we've gotten officers that... the third, he got 17 years, 17-year prison term. And 2 other officers have received 20 years. That first one, that came down on Tuesday. That was one of the sheriffs. His last name was Elwood, and another one named Middleton. So Elwood got 20 years, and he was the one who actually shot the man in the mouth. I don't know how you only get 20 years when you were the only one that actually fired a gun and hit somebody in the mouth. But he got 20. Middleton got 17 and a half years in prison. And then there are other charges that they're facing.
Did you say hit somebody in the mouth? He shot him from the mouth.
I mean, my bad. I don't mean that. I don't mean that. I don't mean. So I just want to update that those sentencings are happening, and that there will be people that turn around and be like, well, is this really enough? They are facing additional charges. So let's just be clear. There is more to come. They're not done. And one officer yesterday, he talked about, this was like the worst thing I've ever done. Basically, I'm ashamed. I can't believe I did this. He kind of had some remorse. But I'm sure everybody's remorseful when you talk about 17 and a half years in prison, 20 years in prison. But we'll see. So the last two, like I said, those should fall through today. Before I go to this thing on Trump, somebody hit me up and said, you mentioned and laughed about Judge Steve Harvey, who is not a real judge or a lawyer. But did you know that Judge Judy makes $47 million annual salary? But let me look and see too. Because she's a real judge, though. And
people like her. Like that. They tuned in for her to make $47 million.
So, and it talks about Judy is a retired judge. So she's a real judge. She's not playing a judge on TV. She's a real judge, number one. But they said on the show, even though it's called Judge Judy, her role is actually that of an arbitrator. Meaning she can only decide the cases because the parties have agreed to be bound by her decision. So in a real situation with the judicial court, the parties don't get to say, we only participate if the judge, that we agree to be bound by the judge's decision. The judge don't care if you agree to be bound by the decision. What decision the judge gives, that's what it is. So she's actually considered an arbitrator, not an actual judge on the show. That probably is the case for most of the other judges that have television shows, that people have to agree, that they're going to abide by the findings. But the other piece is that Judith Sheindlin is somebody that has a long and storied career, and she makes millions of dollars for the networks. So if it's just like, being in the NFL or anywhere else, NBA, if I'm making you this kind of money, I should be paid accordingly. So I'm not salty, and I'm not saying that the person who sent me the text is salty about her making $47 million. But first, let's be clear. What these other folks are, she's actually a real judge, a retired judge. Did you want to say something?
It made me think I got a little journal book, and I had wrote in there, it should be illegal for people over the age of 70 to watch Judge Judy. I said, Granny, she can't hear you, fam. At the TV yelling. That's why she made 47 million. People be going ham. What the hell you? They can't hear you, Grandma. Yeah, phone call.
Okay, and and these people like, well, whether she's a licensed, she's not a judge anymore. She still was a judge, y'all. She was a judge out of New York, family court law. But she was a judge. Like, people, leave this woman alone, leave these people alone, because at least there's a legal background. Somebody went to law school versus Steve Harvey with his waterhead said, that's it allowed. Yeah. Steve Harvey sitting up making decisions like, boy, go stop. I mean, I ain't mad at your hustle, but the message that it sends to our kids and the culture and the community is scandalous. Like, because I think Jerry Springer is actually a lawyer. Yeah. I got to go back and look. Let me go to the phone line.
He was an elected official too.
Yeah, he was an elected official. I remember that. Let me see. Is Jerry Springer a
Apparently
lawyer?
He's a drama major, or at least his producers are.
Jerry Springer is a lawyer. What? His name is Gerald Norman Springer. Oh my God. Oh, he passed away. I didn't realize. I forgot that. So he was broadcaster, journalist, actor, producer, lawyer, and politician. Yep. So Jerry Springer was actually at least an attorney. Steve Harvey just up here just chilling. Somebody says Steve Harvey got his wife in his back pocket, so he has to work. She in his back pocket, she in his front pocket. She tapping all of it, but I ain't mad at her because she done helped elevate Steve, because the way he was dressing before he got with Marjorie. So she done increased his game. She done helped him out. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I just heard a commercial on WNOV, it was endorsed by Joe Biden. Now, any black person that can think for themselves, or any white person, this was a target towards black folks, that the economy is going much greater, and they gave us $1,400, which I ain't never got mine and didn't apply for it. Look at $1,400 do for anybody to do it when your average rent is $1,000 to $1,200. That's a joke going to pandemic. Look over they claim in this commercial. Do you understand that from 2016 to 2020, the black unemployment rate was like 3%? How can they come on there and say, and then black people that unlearn, that won't do the studies, such as yourself, you study, they just take this kind of garbage that's fed to us, and we supposed to pull over and start feasting upon it. This is not true stuff. And we can say, well, Obama left a surplus and had it going. That's correct. We got to give dude some play. Just like we had to give Bill Clinton some play when he got a deficit going. But you have to look where that money came from. During the Bill Clinton years, they got a deficit because what they did. They allowed the free prison enterprise to come about. Then they took to make sure that industry thrived, they took SSI from drug and alcoholics that were deemed an incurable disease.
Hey, Winky.
The Reagan that put in place, it was an incurable disease.
Winky.
And they took that back, and then these addicts were left with no money to make sure that the prison system thrived.
Hey, Winky.
People don't understand and don't follow that.
Winky.
Now that
Winky.
was a lot.
Winky.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 minute.
Now, President Biden might be 81 years old, but tonight he proved that he's 46. When President Biden said at the State of the Union that he was turning a setback to a comeback, he meant that shit. 15 million new jobs, 800 manufacturing jobs, record low unemployment, inflation from 9% to 3%, infrastructure law, American Rescue Plan, CHIPS and Science Act, capping the cost for insulin for seniors to $35. Now, he didn't say the number, but I'm going to tell you they made that number. $1.5 billion alone in 2023 to black-owned businesses, only to black-owned businesses. Let's talk about tangibles. Now, I love the fact that he called out Republicans on this shit. Now, he said it's funny that you guys voted against the infrastructure bill, but y'all cheering on the money being sent to your district. And even without saying that MAGA name, he said you cannot claim to love your country only when you win. Shit, that was a bar. Okay, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, y'all ain't got this on Biden. Now, Biden, drop the mic and drop the mixtape, okay? Because we buying it, shit, okay? FOMO years.
Hey, listen. That particular commercial right there is full of maggots, full of untruth, and he got that's a zesty boy, a flaming sissy, making these statements.
Hold on 1 second. Turn them down. See, I'm willing to obviously have you express your position, but what I tell you consistently, you cannot do. Whatever your hangups are with people's sexual orientation, man, leave that at your house. Leave that in your circle. You don't get to call the radio station and want to pass your beliefs about sexual orientation on to the listeners in terms of calling people a flaming sissy, a faggot, whatever words, terminology you feel like using that day. You don't get to disrespect people, bruh, because people don't, well, a lot of people do want to disrespect you, and I understand why, but you don't get to do that, fam. And so when you can like mature and have conversations, that don't have to try to degrade somebody, because whether you gay or not does not impact your ability to intellectually understand the economy. It has nothing to do with it. Some of the greatest leaders in the African-American community that have done monumental work have been people that were gay. So you don't get to keep doing that. And did you hang up on them? Please hang up on them, because I want to hear it. I want to hear it today. So when you learn how to call here and talk without degrading people based on sexual orientation, we free to have the conversations, because what you consistently continue to do is show how limited you are in your abilities, because you have to sink to the lowest denominator all the time. It's tons of people that don't agree with gay lifestyles, and they call here and make opinions known without, coming after those people. Leave them people alone, man. That man he is a taxpayer. He probably is a homeowner. He contributes. He goes to work every day. So is his opinion any less because he's gay? Your words a sissy? You don't get to have an opinion? You don't get to have an opinion. But the heterosexuals, who in some cases whooping on their wives, cheating on their wives, stealing from their companies, we can hear what you got to say because you don't swing a certain way sexually. The ignorance, the utter ignorance. It's a whole bunch of straight people that have run this country straight into the ground. Let's start with your boy that you always calling in here to protect and to hold up, Donald Trump. Far as I know, he ain't gay, but he worse than anybody ever in terms of leading this country. He don't even know, you talk about sex, he don't even know how to control himself, to the point that 19 women accuse him of sexual assault. And then he can brag to somebody about grabbing women by their private parts. So that's who we uplift. And that's whose position we care about. The sexual molester and the perv who said he could date his daughter. That's who we uplift. But because somebody else, you hear a little something in their voice, their sexual orientation is in question, they might be gay. We don't want to hear what he got to say. But let me hear what the nasty, filthy, pervert dog got to say. Let me do that. I just want to be clear for all you black Republicans that be calling here with y'all nonsense, trying to support this dude and to some way justify this ignorant man being the president of the United States. What is wrong with you Negroes? You're going to get behind filthy who talks about looking at his daughter in a sexual way. You're going to get behind that dude. That's who we getting behind. Who cheats on his wife while she's pregnant with some chick that's a stanky in the Playboy Club. That's who you're going to get behind. The other brother who called in here talking about his damn morals. Your morals must be flimsy as a wet piece of paper. And then damn near forced to tears, trying to make excuses for this raggedy. But because somebody gay, James Baldwin, Bayard Rustin, Nikki Giovanni, let me just name the amazing people in our community that happen to also be gay. Because you gay, what you say does not matter. What you say is called into question. But the pervert who is eyeing his daughter, and when she was sitting on his lap, probably got a hard on, that's who we want to, that's who we want to get behind. That's who we want to support. That's who we want to listen to. Yeah, my patience for y'all and this nonsense is just wearing real thin. And as you hopefully understand, you was free to make your point, but you're not going to make your point and try to dog and clown people on the way because they love differently than you do. That we not going to do. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Let me take a break. I'll be right back.
Sponsored by the New Pits Mortuary, located at 2031 West on Capitol Drive. Pick your tickets up 45 in advance, 50 at the door. On my way, gospel for. He's blessing me. I feel it in my feet right now. Baby, you better meet me there. Brunch at 1. The show begins at 4 p.m. The fabulous Lucky Brothers. My soul is a witness. I feel it down on the inside. Be right there at Abundant Faith, located at 7830 West Good Hope Road. All Willie Rogers. We're going to a meeting on that day. I see them marching down the street. Come on in from everywhere, northwest, south. It's going down. There's a leak in this old building, Bishop Neil Robertson, and my soul has got to move. Don't you miss it. Call the New Pitts Mortuary 414-447-6000. It's going down at the Soul Stirring Gospel Easter Bash. Oh, I gotta stop right there, Bryant. Back in top. My feet got light. I feel myself flying right about now. Come on now, you don't want to miss it. Be right there in the house. It's going down. Come on now, Tiffany Terry. Everybody know he's my friend. Oh, you don't want to miss it. You be right there. That Soul Stirring Gospel Easter Bash. That food is going to be yummy, yummy, yummy. I'll tell you, come on now, Reverend R.L. Bush and the Revived Sons. Put the weight on me. Oh, not that kind of weight, because that food gonna be so stuffed. Pick your tickets up at the New Pitts Mortuary.
Tickets are also available at Nick Avani's and Mayfair Mall on the 2nd floor.
The next election is Tuesday, April 2nd. And as we know, elections have consequences. Not being informed about election dates, candidates, and the issues have consequences. And the price we pay can be costly. On Saturday, March 23rd, the Executive Committee of the Community Brainstorming Conference invites you to their Spring Candidates Forum to hear from candidates on the ballot at various levels of government. Attend this informative program at St. Matthew's CME Church, 2944 North 9th Street. Again, on March 23rd. Never a charge to attend. Continental breakfast served at 8 a.m. Program starts at 9 a.m. You can also join online by visiting communitybrainstormingconference.org.
Black history is something to appreciate, celebrate, and participate. Play Ode is a mobile app that streams America's best Black-owned radio stations and podcasts from across the country. ODE stands for Our Digital Entertainment. Play Ode features music and entertainment for us and by us. Listen to WNOV The Voice Milwaukee on the Play Ode app. Elevate your radio listening and participate in supporting Black radio. Download PLAYODE or log on to odeaudio.com for info and insight.
Make it a real Mad March with a playoff payout at Potawatomi. Every week, you could score your share of $100,000 in cash and free play. Play this March for drawing entries. Win each Thursday. Plus, the prizes refresh every week for even more winners. The playoff payout at Potawatomi, Milwaukee. It's anyone's game. For more details, visit paysbig.com/payout. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
Hey Milwaukee, this is your favorite DJ L Boogie, and I just joined the family over here at WNOV, the all-new 106.5 FM, 860 AM, and I'm going to be rocking the Saturday Mix Show. So check me out every Saturday right here on the station, 9 p.m. to midnight. Every Saturday, it's the Mix Show with
DJ L Boogie.
Turn me up.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
No, man, that ain't none of my old lady. I used to talk to you. That's the cat she go with now, and you just busted it. Now listen to this. I used to think that you were really cool. I used to think that you never would be nobody's fool. But let me tell you, baby, you're a job taking, very Australian. Job taking, yeah, baby, you're a job taking. Oh, 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 job taking. I played hooky from school just to be with you. you. 'Cause you can do the do. 'Cause you can do the do. 'Cause you can do the do. 'Cause you can do the do, baby. I put my trust in you. Wow, 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 wow.
Now back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant on 860 WNOV.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. So the song selection, interesting. We got my young brother in here who is running for office. And you know, fairly proficient, bruh. He was like, what? This is a song? I've never heard this before. So, you know, I'm trying not to smile. Of course, we know Carmi didn't know nothing about it because he's still trying to figure out who the Isley brothers is.
Y'all gonna get off my little partner.
I'm just saying. He's still looking for posters of the Isley brothers.
Hey, Carmi. Remember the word unicue.
So, what does that mean?
Well, somebody was at a spelling bee.
I was a kid.
Yeah. And
I was a child.
They were trying to be cocky.
I didn't know that the word unique was unique. I thought it said unicue.
Oh, unique.
Oh no. Don't start your yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was a baby. You know, you want to be grown. So now the Isley brothers. This man coughing all up in here who started this nonsense.
I'm sorry.
Because he didn't know that Jive Turkey was actually a song.
I see what's gonna be on the next album. Bring it back.
I'm gonna sample it.
Jive Turkey.
Real quick.
Sample it for this dish record.
Ray Nitty in the building. What up, Ray?
How you doing? How you doing?
This morning,
Good morning.
bro?
Good morning. Thank
Can
you.
you just say Ray, or do I have to say the whole thing? Do I
You
have
could
to
just say Ray
Nitty?
for sure.
You know, because some people you gotta say the whole thing.
No, Ray is fine.
Hit it with some of that language, though. She make the same.
Oh, okay. Good morning. Good morning. Big up to everybody listening to the WNOV morning show with Michelle Bryant. You already know it's the top morning show in the world, so make sure you tune in every morning.
Is that Ray or
That's Rahenio. That's Rahenio.
All right, bro. So we were gonna have a talk this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
But due to a meeting that has come up,
Yep,
that
yep,
you
yep.
need to dash to.
Yes, ma'am.
We're gonna postpone that.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna see if I actually can get you back in over the weekend, record
Okay.
something, and then run it next week.
Yes,
But you are running for, just so people know, which automatic seat?
For the 4th automatic district, those boundaries are between Prospect to 35th Street and also between Valete and St. Paul.
All right. So again, because of time, we're not gonna do anything, but you
Yes,
do
ma'am.
need to do something important
I
this
do.
morning that you was gonna do while you was here.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead and go on and take that mic.
I have to say happy birthday to my mom, Benedicta Graves, who turned 75 years old today. So please keep my mom in your prayers for her birthday today. If you know her, give her a call. She probably taught half of the city.
Really?
She was at Esalero. She was also at SDC Head Start for numerous years. So I just want to say happy birthday, mommy. I love you, and I hope you have an amazing day.
All right, so you can't play. You got to go.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate that you stopped by. I'm like, y'all, bro, you could have called me. Nah, I had to stop
Yeah,
by.
I had to.
So, you know, but I'm glad we were able to definitely shout out mom. And her name is
Benedicta Graves.
Benedicta.
Graves.
That's the first time I ever heard that.
We still got true diplomats alive that really, like to shake hands, look you in the eyes, face to face with you.
Yeah.
It's not all text and telephones, right?
Yeah,
Well,
I
and
like
he-
Zoom.
Yeah, he came through.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I honor that. But goodbye.
That-
It's been real.
I'm gonna be listening.
Look, as somebody who has to help manage elected officials, goodbye.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
And then if you can remind folks about the community brainstorm.
I will make sure for folks that he wanted me to make sure I plug community brainstorming. He will actually be there. You'll get to hear this brother, meet this brother. In terms of his candidacy for alderman. So yes, that is happening this Saturday. Breakfast starts being served at 8. The program starts at 9. See you later, bye. And he will be one of the candidates that community brainstorming has fortunately pulled together so that the community gets some real face time with these folks and can hear from them. I do have somebody coming in this morning, like around that 8:25, 8:30 time frame. So I'm just going to roll through some of the stuff real quick. I know I also have a caller on the line, but let me just say this too. in relationship to the conversation that I was having with Meech before, I finally decided like I don't want to do it this morning. There was a comment made about that, Biden and the Biden-Harris administration gave out $1,400 in assistance payments during the pandemic to people. And he was like, what is that? What difference does that make? In the Black community, the majority of Black folks did not have jobs that allowed them to continue to go to work every day during the pandemic. Because we typically have jobs where you got to show up. Sometimes it's manual labor. You're working from computers and not all of it was remote access available. So we had to physically be in the building. And when many of those companies, closed their doors during COVID, we were at home with nothing but an unemployment check. Those stimulus checks that were provided was a bridge over. It was some temporary relief, but it wasn't just the stimulus checks. It was also the ability to put rules in place that you couldn't be evicted during COVID-19. Now, while you were a property owner, landlord, that was a tough thing to go through. But people understood we can't allow people to be put on the streets right now. And so it wasn't just, oh, you got $1,400. And when you have nothing, $1,400 feel like $14 million. When you have nothing coming in.
I have nothing.
And Keon singing in the background. And so you also couple that though. Don't just cherry pick and say one thing. It was a package. We're going to be able to keep you in your housing so that you don't get evicted until we get through this period. We're not going to let your utilities be turned off so that you don't lose your power, your electricity, your gas until we get through this period. We're going to stop all student loan payments during this period. We're going to not collect taxes owed to the IRS during this period. Like, we are going to figure out ways to insulate you as much as we can during this period. So, when you say it like $1,400 ain't nothing, $1,400 ain't nothing maybe to you, but it was a lifeline to a number of people. And we're going to double and triple the amount of food share benefits that people are eligible for. Like, we putting all these things in place. It wasn't just one feature or one element. I'm trying to hit it from all sides. So if you're going to talk about it, then be honest about it. And while it's easy to call in and call other folks a liar, but when you choose to purposefully leave information out or not tell the whole story, you look like a liar too, bruh. You look like you're lying too. If you're going to tell it all. Not just the part you feel bolsters your argument. If you're going to tell it all. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sound like me to jive turkey, huh?
Well, okay, yeah, I'll say that. Go ahead. Yeah.
He can't help it. And he cashed that $1,400 check too.
And he may not, and if you didn't need it, that's cool. But don't try to minimize it for the families that were struggling that did. That's all I'm saying. Meech probably got $1,400 in his pocket right now. Every day, 14,000. Okay, somebody said 14,000. So it's not a big deal to you, but to folks making $7.25 an hour, it was a big deal.
He Uncle Ruckus on Boondocks, ain't he?
I miss my strip. Well, go ahead, bro. What you got this morning?
Michelle, if people need help, let them get help. Why do people always hate on people? And if somebody gay, let them be gay. It chose them. They didn't chose to be gay. Gayness chose you. You can't not tell me somebody just say, oh yeah, today I'm gonna be gay. I've never been gay before, but I'm gonna be gay today. Tell them they need to stop it. Stop messing with gay people. Ain't nothing wrong with them. They just live sexually differently.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate the call. I mean, I guess that's one of the things I just don't understand it. Like, why do I care what your sexual orientation is? I just don't. And if you're talking about, oh, it's the demise of the community, oh, it's going to tear us up, it's heterosexual people doing crazy damage to the community. You know, didn't nobody gay come after my reproductive rights? That was heterosexual white men that decided that I, as a woman, shouldn't be able to make decisions for myself, even when my life is in danger. Them wasn't gay people. Gay people ain't out here shooting up the block. Them is heterosexual bros out here shooting up the block. Like, gay people ain't the biggest drug dealers and movers in the community around the country. It's usually heterosexual people that's doing that. So one sin in the eyes of this individual, and I said in the eyes of that individual, is more weighty than anything else. You're not entitled to be a participating member of society and have an opinion because of who you choose to love. Stop that. We got to move and grow beyond what somebody do in their bedroom, as long as what they doing in their bedroom is not illegal and harming somebody. Stop that. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello? All right, so they're not there. So let me do this real quick. You know, since my man want to call in and whine and cry, Donald Trump is, the next coming of Jesus. He's so amazing. He's done so much for Black people. But this is the dude that don't pay his own bills. And he trifling and don't want to pay his own bills. So right now, as we are bumping up against a Monday deadline for the $464 million bond that needs to be put up, which I said you got to put up 20% on top of that. So it's probably like, if you're dealing with a bond company, so it's like $527 million that this dude has to fork over. And he's, going through the appeal process to try not to have to do that. So Donald Trump has sent out a fundraising letter to people who don't have 1/100th of the wealth that he supposedly has. Asking everyday working class people, 1 million people, to chip in and give him some money. So if 1 million of y'all give me $4, then I don't have to go in my personal pocket for a problem that I created, that I was lying and scheming and committing fraud to, cheat the American taxpayer, to cheat, banks and systems. And I want y'all to foot the bill for me. For somebody who loves capitalism and is always talking about, what I did and, who I am and, people need to go to work. This the beggingest. Almost cussed. But this is one of the most beggingest people I ever seen. The RNC spending all their money on this raggedy man. People raising money, help me pay my legal fees. Them your legal fees. Because you're not getting ready to come and help Americans pay none of their bills. You ain't getting ready to help nobody pay the IRS. You're not getting ready to help nobody pay, their child support. You're not getting ready to help nobody do nothing. But every time people turn around, this millionaire is forever begging everyday working people to come help him cover his responsibilities. While you mingle at the country club at Mar-a-Lago and you drink whatever expensive drink you drink, you got some Macallan in there, whatever you got, and you jet around the world and you own multi-million-dollar properties, but you always begging for money. And then you hype these people up by telling them this is an attack on you. No, it's not. It's an attack on you, fool. They're coming after you. No, they not. The IRS ain't sent me no notice. Letitia James did not call me. She called you. They're trying to come get you. Okay, coming around. Okay. Yeah, they're trying to come get you. No. These are problems of your making that have nothing to do with the presidency. Zero. And these are not Democrats coming after you. These are not Republicans coming after you. These are systems who are put in place to protect the American people and American businesses. And it is these systems that are comprised of all types of people with all different, political philosophies and ideologies who have found you guilty of fraud. And after you brag and say, I'm balling like that, yeah, I got 400 million in cash on hand, liquid, ready to roll. Then when it's time to pay up, can I put some on it? Y'all got a layaway plan. Can you reduce it to 100 million? Better yet, can you just not make me have to pay it right now? Baller, you said you had it. And all these clowns getting in line to uphold you said and believe you that business dude. You're capable of making it happen. I mean, no, 6 bankruptcies, that's just business. Remember the caller who called in to extol the virtues of being able to effectively use bankruptcy in your business practices, and that makes you a smart person? Remember that? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6. And if he can't come up with this money by Monday, we may be looking at bankruptcy number 7. But this the dude who is great for the American economy. You can't handle your personal business. You can't handle your personal life. You can't control your penis in your own pants. But you, Big Willie, can run the United States. That's what you asking me to get behind. And then again, the crying Negroes that call in here talking about, it's about the morality. I support the party of morals. Child molesters. I support the party of morals. Cheating on your wife while she's pregnant. I support the party of morals. It's the moral thing, y'all. It's the religion. The Lord said, committing fraud and stealing, and the people all around you steal. What's old boy's name who was gonna build a wall and he was out on multi-million-dollar yachts cruising and drinking champagne? Don P. Steve Bannon, that's your boy. Your security advisor, what was his name? Michael something? That Flynn, that's your boy. Like all your network is crooks and criminals. Giuliani, lying. Got these black women getting harassed because you lying with your hair dye. This your squad. Like, look at your squad, man. Look at your team. But you got brothers dang near tearful-eyed want to go to battle with a sister because how dare you not see the virtue of Donald Trump? I'm talking about Greg Kennedy was dang near in tears. It's not right, Michelle. You're wrong. You're so wrong. You can't do that, Michelle. You're wrong. You're wrong. Like, dog, if you go sit down. No, it happened. I ain't lying. I'm not lying. It happened. I'm not bogus for telling the truth. How am I bogus for telling the truth? He was almost in tears, y'all. How can you? You're wrong, Michelle. You're wrong. How can you say that? That's what he was doing. I'm not bogus. I'm telling the truth. I'm from the boxing world. I'm rough and I'm tough. I'm from the boxing federation. I'm not dragging it out. I'm just telling the truth. I wish I could see you. I wish I could see me on Facebook.
Let me get you the camera. Look out the window. Look out the door. You can't see yourself on camera.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You buggers.
Look how I steamed up my glasses. Oh, please.
Again, for
you're
real?
you're not being fair, Michelle. Oh, I love Donald Trump. He's the leader of our party and our morals. You know what do you tell Keith? It's a morals thing, Keith. It's a morals thing. Oh, get your man. Oh my God. Oh, I gave myself a headache.
Right.
Oh,
this nigga bogus. This never heard that one over
how
there.
am I bogus?
Because you
What's
dragging it out.
bogus
Because you dragging it out.
is grown black men crying and bending themselves in knots to try to protect Donald Trump. That's what's bogus.
They have feelings too.
And then you go clown a sister trying to protect this trifling man. What Meech call silverback gorilla? What he say? Because you trying to protect this raggedy mofo. That's what you doing.
You've been really on the brink of
but I didn't do it. But I didn't do it. But I didn't do it.
Mofo, we know what that means.
I am getting so outraged over it all. So outraged. Oh, how am I wrong? You're right. You wrong, Michelle. Station manager, what?
He's wrong too.
Station manager, you're wrong, Michelle. Hey, the minute I start telling the tale, stop me. Anybody that was there, y'all saw it. I don't care what Greg Kennedy called to hear it said. Oh, don't do it. You're wrong, You're wrong, Michelle. You're wrong.
You know the name of the song is Damn.
Oh,
did you fall out the chair?
I did. Okay, I'm going to break. I done did enough. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Come on, look, I got to do big cuz like that.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
The Center for Teaching Entrepreneurship presents its third annual Big Head Soiree, Thursday, May 16th at the Marcus Performing Arts Center in the Bradley Pavilion. I'm Andrea Williams, and I'll be your host for this spectacular event. It's designed to salute the co-founder, Miss Radonna Rogers, as she loved to wear big hats, and this is one way we honor her. We will also celebrate and recognize the accomplishments of Milwaukee's leaders in entrepreneurial ventures.
TTE was founded with the mission in mind to help young people understand business, financial literacy, and themselves, and how they can find their way into the marketplace and be productive citizens. We have found a great way to educate, stimulate, and advance what we're doing within this community.
So ladies, this is the time to wear your big hat, and guys, your stylish fedora. You will be treated to a delectable dinner and the sounds of Soul Sirius starting at 5:30. The program will begin at 7 with more entertainment and the awards program. Tickets are just $75. Go to Eventbrite using VHS 24 or call 414-788-8104. That's 414-788-8104. This event will kick off the spring season, so don't miss it.
This event is sponsored by Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce, U.S. Bank, Brewers Community Foundation, and BizStart.
The next election is Tuesday, April 2nd. And as we know, elections have consequences. Not being informed about election dates, candidates, and the issues have consequences. And the price we pay can be costly. On Saturday, March 23rd, the Executive Committee of the Community Brainstorming Conference invites you to their Spring Candidates Forum to hear from candidates on the ballot at various levels of government. Attend this informative program at St. Matthew's CME Church, 2944 North 9th Street. again on March 23rd. Never a charge to attend. Continental breakfast served at 8 a.m. Program starts at 9 a.m. You can also join online by visiting communitybrainstormingconference.org.
Do you love Jamaican food? Well, visit Fireside Jamaican Cuisine new location at 7434 West Capitol Drive. Stop in for your Jamaican fix. Jerk chicken, oxtails, jerk egg rolls, and more. Daily specials will be available along with the original menu items from the previous Villa Avenue location. Business hours are Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sundays, 12 p.m. to 8. For more information, please call 414-509-5579. 414-509-5579.
The Trump economy was a disaster for Black America. He prioritized the wealthy and big business, not us, giving them tax breaks while we got left behind. Under Trump, hundreds of thousands of Black Americans lost health insurance in the middle of a pandemic. And don't forget the division, the violence, and disrespect we faced while he was in charge. Now, he's coming after our voting rights. And if he's president again, Trump vowed to be a, quote, dictator who would get revenge. We can't go back. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are working hard for Black America. They sent $1,400 cash relief checks when they were needed most. Our wages are up. We've got millions of new good-paying jobs, and the cost of insulin is capped at $35 for seniors. There's more to do, but it's clear that on the economy, Black America is getting ahead with President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
Shoot your gun. Don't hold back the feeling. Let it go. Yeah. Now I can do your thing. You don't have to be ashamed. You just let your soul set still. Go ahead, girl.
Now, back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. I know I have callers on the line. Callers, I'm going to ask that you give me a couple of minutes. I have a candidate in the studio, and I want to make sure that I get this interview done. Should I end early, you're more than welcome to call back. But I think it's important as we push up on the April 2nd election date, and we are already in the throes of early voting, that you hear from as many people as possible. And so I'm trying to do my part in relationship to that. So with that in mind, I am pleased to welcome to the studio State Representative Evan Goyke. What's happening, State Rep? How you doing today?
I'm good. It's a good day today.
Yeah, well, first of all, enjoy it before tomorrow.
I know, right?
And you have, State Rep is plowing snow,
Right,
like, getting the walkway.
Yeah, the door-to-door plans tomorrow changed a little bit.
Changed dramatically. So, State Rep Goyke or Rep Goyke, I've known you for a while, and have had the privilege to work with you in the state capitol. I actually told a minor story about you yesterday. In which look his face like what?
Yeah.
What did you say,
Uh-oh.
Michelle?
Yeah.
Because for like anything, you have the moments where we on the same side, the moments when we disagree, the moments when like I'm not speaking to him ever again. Like who is she? Like you have all those moments, but at the end of the day, the work reminds you of why you're there, and you put that stuff to the side and you keep working. But I shared with listeners yesterday, one of the things that I will always remember about you is a meeting you and I had in Senator Taylor's office. You came into the office and we were talking about, different things. And you made a statement. You said, whatever there is to learn from Senator Taylor, I want to learn it. Whatever there is to learn about this job, and with somebody who's had the benefit of, being in the building, I'm here to learn. And, now that doesn't negate that you come in with your own ideas, your own values, beliefs.
Right.
You got your own cred in terms of your own law degree and your own background.
And Senator Taylor and I were both public defenders, survivors of the 9th floor of the state office building downtown.
Yeah.
I love politics. I followed her when she was co-chair of Joint Finance, when the Democrats in 2009, 2010 were in the majority. And so, and obviously very vocal in Act 10 in 2011, but I knew who she was. I come in, I'm like, okay, I want to, and it's, she has a very unique and effective way of representation. And when you start to get to know legislators personally, and especially on the other side of the aisle, the Senate Republicans, that's who they talk about for a Democrat. They talk about Lena.
Yeah, I mean,
in very genuine personal terms.
And that's the thing. So that was the thing that always stood out. And to me, it says so much about character, about who you were coming in the door. Because I can be a young gun, a hot shot. I got, like I said, my own resume, and hey, I'm here to kick the doors in. And I just appreciated the balance that you've always shown as a state rep. But there are people that don't know much about you, or they know enough. Folks were even like yesterday. Somebody said, Michelle, the seat that Rep. Goyke is in, is that a seat that was, traditionally perceived as a black seat, a seat to increase black representation? We talked about the fact that Tamara Grigsby, former state rep,
Antonio
Riley,
Lena for 2 years. Gwen Moore had big sections of it. It's changed over time, but yes, for a long time.
Just before we get up to your entrance into politics, just a little bit about you. Are you from Wisconsin?
Yeah, I was born in Neenah, which is outside of Oshkosh.
Okay.
Was there as just a baby. I grew up in Madison.
Okay.
So my parents were both in politics, both worked in the state capitol. And so I grew up in that world in Madison. I came to Milwaukee in 2006 to attend Marquette Law School.
Okay.
So that was my first real introduction in any real serious way to Milwaukee, and totally fell in love. Absolutely. Just
so wait, let me back up.
Life-changing.
Because I know you say, parents politically active. I love your mom. I like your dad.
Thank you for giving my mom the shout out too. Yeah, because she is the unsung hero. Too often.
When I say I adore your mom, your mom is, and she's so chill. Like
she really is.
If she gets rattled, you don't know it. She is so chill. Your dad is a character. I love your dad.
Less chill.
Yeah, your dad is everywhere. People like they know your dad probably before they know you, because he comes to everything. He supports everything,
and that's his energy.
Always, he's always out
from
there.
People. I have some of that, but. No, I'm not the same.
Oh
person,
no. That's like I tease Lena. Like
unique.
People talk about Lena, but when you meet her mother, you're like, you're probably about 20% of your mom. You're different. You're a little more chill. You're like more like your mom to me.
I'm a little, my mom. I think I'm gonna say this lovingly. She's more of a nerd.
Okay.
She likes reader and writer, and I've got half of that. And then my father, who's like all external people person. That's where he gets his energy. I got some of that, but there are times where my tank is on empty with events and
your dad, because we did Black Advocacy Day at the state capitol on February 29th, and your dad called the office and he said, "Hey, Michelle, just want to let you know, I'm gonna be in the building that day. We've set up a table, so if folks didn't get breakfast, they need some water, they need some snacks. We got them."
Right. I was here.
Really?
I had commitments here in Milwaukee, and I have a brand new staffer.
Okay.
And first time, kind of first month on the job.
Okay.
And so there's like, okay, all right, hey Dad, can you help him out? Can you whatever, blue books, bottled water,
Right.
whatever. Because no, that's been a really successful event, and I hope it continues, well into the future.
Well, we
I know that
definitely,
it will.
yeah,
but-
we definitely tried to make it happen in spite of Lena transitioning to the
Yeah,
bench.
yeah.
Because she was looking over our shoulder like, let it not happen. Like, we don't need these problems, Judge. We'll make sure it happens. And we're actually planning our Girls' Day at the Capitol next. That's coming up, that we're doing it. But okay, so you got these parents, they are politically engaged, but did you always want to do politics?
I mean,
were you going to go to the NFL
God,
or something?
No. I'm chubby and unathletic. I wanted to be an environmental lawyer. I was a Boy Scout. I love the outdoors, hiking and camping, and I don't get to do that a lot anymore. But that's really peaceful for me to be able to go, Havenwood State Park for an hour outside. That's a recharge for my batteries, or the Hank Aaron State Trail or whatever. So I wanted to be an environmental lawyer, and I took a biology class in college, and it was so bad. Oh man, I think I got a C or a D, and I hated it, and it was a grind. And I did really well in political science, and I really didn't want to follow. Like I was, like sons push against what their fathers do.
Right.
And actually, it was really like I came to Milwaukee in law school and for law school, and I got involved in democratic politics here. And I just realized I just had this love for public policy, and the route to affecting public policy is getting involved.
Yeah.
One side or the other, or running for office, or being an advocate, or working as staff, right? I mean,
and I would say, as a parent of a son, I've always been involved in politics. My son did every absolute thing he could. Like, he's in marketing, he does this, he does. And now it's so funny to see him come into this, where he's like, I think I'm gonna run for office. I'm like, really? I think I'm gonna do this. And so I get the whole part about
I tried, but what really happened, Michelle, is that I think coming to Milwaukee, moving here, establishing some roots, joining the public defender's office, what clicked for the first time was the why. Right. A lot of people have this idea of like, I want to go in politics. It'd be great. I'd have my name on a yard sign, or I could be at the seat of power. And many people that run don't really know why they're running, and they get in and they're excited to be a part of the process.
And I'm gonna just say this: sometimes for me, the why is still not enough.
Right.
Like I want to, they'll have some very specific things they care about, but when you realize the totality of this job and what's expected, and that your constituency is bigger than the folks impacted by this one or two issues that you're talking about,
or just your friends that support you, or you
got to serve everybody, even the folks that didn't vote for you
or will never vote.
Never.
They're people too, and so that job and working in the
now, how long were you in the public defender's office?
About 3 years. And I had to take a leave to run for partisan office.
Okay.
You can't be a state employee in a partisan office candidate. And when I got elected, I did a little part-time legal work those first couple of years in the legislature. My wife was in law school, so we were kind of living off my one income. And I was like one foot in one world.
Y'all were broke.
We were broke. Yeah. I mean, there were lean years, we'll say. Remember those?
And I say that to say, because I said this to Bill Christensen when he was in here yesterday, people don't always appreciate the financial sacrifice of serving in public office. In the private sector, what you could have ended up doing financially.
Yeah, I love the legislature is great. Being a public defender was great. I would not change that. But and these are all public records. I make about $4,000 more a year today than I did in 2009 when I started in the public defender's office.
Right.
And so that.
I mean, it's a strain.
That's a real.
It's a real thing, especially young family. You're married.
Right.
How many? Two children.
One kid.
One kid.
My son Miguel is about to be 3 years old. So we're in litigation for a second. That's two lawyer households. So we're fighting about it.
I like that. So this seat opens up. In terms of the aldermanic district, and you represent aldermanic district,
Assembly District 18.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Assembly
and it was
District
weird.
18.
I bought my home in March of 2011. I'm right by 27th and State, and actually, when I bought the house, it was in one district, and then a couple months later, redistricting happened, and it's the 18th district, which is a big chunk of Sherman Park, Washington Heights, Washington Park, and then I live on the near west side.
Okay.
And that's kind of been the heart of that district for the last several decades.
And so the opportunity then presents itself to
Well,
run.
so the opportunity closed because Tamara Grigsby was in office, and
Right.
she's just an
She's
absolute
a
rock star, absolute rock
Absolutely,
star.
same word.
Really,
Yep,
really
yep,
idolized
yep.
her. She stepped away from politics she was battling cancer, and we lost her a few years later. Uh, uh, and so it was an open seat,
Right.
8-way Democratic primary,
I
low
forgot
turnout.
that. Was it 8?
8 candidates.
I just remember Jared Fields. I don't remember
So
anybody past Jared.
So I was victorious in the primary, which this is a heavy Democratic seat. So
Yeah.
whoever is the Democratic candidate would win the general. And so I was in first place. Jarrett, LaShondra Vernon.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Michael Glaber, Andy Parker, Ty Jackson.
Oh my God.
You know,
I
there's-
forgot
yeah.
about that was
It's a good cast of characters.
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
mean,
cool
and
with
it
a
was
lot of
deep
them.
too.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
oh,
deep.
yeah.
That was deep.
It was good. And we, it's interesting. We had lots of forums and lots of debates, and you had this cast of 8 people up there with lots of different ideas, the whole spectrum politically. It was really an interesting election.
So you win, you secure.
I win. Yeah, it was like 38% of the vote, which
Okay.
I look back, it's like, I don't know, 1,600 votes in a primary, and we're insiders in this game,
Right.
but people need to know in these low turnout elections, like April. I mean, I think April will likely be a low turnout election. I just want to stress how much your vote matters. Whether if you're listening and you don't like me and you're not going to vote for me, fine, vote. Because man, when we have these low turnout elections, a tiny fraction of people decide the outcome of big important races.
So you go to the state. The career has been stellar. The work, significant legislation, appointed to or selected for joint finance.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you, because those seats are coveted, takes a lot of work to keep those seats, and you have represented, as far as I'm concerned, Milwaukee well.
Thank you.
At that table, you were critical in the conversation about relocating the juvenile facility.
Right.
That was a battle. So before I talk about the city attorney's office and your quest to get that seat, significant things that you learned in the legislature, or some of your proudest moments so far.
Well, I want to start this will blend
And
into
just one
city
quick question:
attorney. Yeah.
have you had to give up your seat to run for this office?
No, they are not legally incompatible.
Okay.
I do not plan to seek re-election,
Okay.
whether elected to city attorney or not.
Okay. You're
I
done.
want to pass the baton to somebody else
Okay.
and do something else. And I want to be local. I want to be home more.
Okay.
But I'm not resigning immediately because we have a 2-seat protection of the governor's veto.
Right.
So if I were to resign today, and if Marisabel Cabrera is elected judge April 2nd, the 2 of us gone means Robin Voss can radically change
Yeah, 'cause
democracy
those
in
seats are
Wisconsin.
open
And right. And
right.
so I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Like I'm not going to let him have his.
It's a lot.
It's
a lot
So
at
we'll be
stake.
doing those 2 jobs for the rest of 2024, and then not, and then leaving. No, the origin story. What I want to talk about, one thing I'm proud of, and this is how I started working with the city attorney's office, was on 27th and Kilbourne on the southeast corner. It was a Judy's Red Hot hot dog
Oh, yeah.
stand, and then it went empty,
Right.
and then it became a tobacco only outlet.
Okay.
Right. So all they was like vape and tobacco and blunt wraps and all that
Okay.
stuff. Sorry. And and so the neighbors in the area were there's a lot of crime and disorder. It was a property that gave a lot of opportunity for that type of crime, street level drug, panhandling, prostitution. And so the assistant city attorneys came to a neighborhood meeting and we're working to label this a nuisance property and working with the alderperson on their license. And we found this loophole that we couldn't do anything about it because state law had carved out tobacco shops and treated their license differently than if they sold potato chips or if they sold alcohol or if they were a restaurant. And so I saw these assistant city attorneys working on this problem. I'm like, man, look at them they're using their legal education and training. They're listening to residents, solving this issue, this public safety concern. They couldn't do it in court because of this loophole. Pivot to working with the state legislature and the city and, stakeholders in the area. And we worked across the aisle to get it passed. So now if a tobacco only business is treated, their license is treated a lot like a liquor store, where the city council can actually bring the owner in front of the council and say, address the neighbors are calling about these concerns. What are you going to do to promote safety in your business? And if you don't comply, there are ramifications.
Okay, so you draw that line. Now, your name has been floated though a number of times for anytime the state attorney general seat was in play, even district attorney, your name has come up. It's not like people haven't been watching your career and like, what's the next move for Evan Goike? So, how do we get here now? So you see this work.
We do that. We did some work the next year with the city attorney's office on mortgage foreclosures.
Okay,
and
yeah.
cutting off a pipeline for properties to landlords that have track records of taking advantage of their tenants and not paying their taxes, and so I just really fell in love with the mission of the office. It gets to do a lot.
Okay.
It's about 40 lawyers total, full service law firm, 52 areas of legal representation of the city. It's an octopus. The tentacles reach the health department, neighborhood services, the police department, police and fire, the city council, the mayor, city employees, their benefits, federal litigation.
So it's
It is
everything.
everything. It is. I talk about half of the challenge as a candidate for this office is explaining what we do, and it's everything.
Because
really.
I'm gonna tell you, and particularly depending on the demographic, some communities you're talking to, like the city attorney's office is not always viewed favorably because y'all the people trying to you're trying to stop, and people like, who do you work for? Do you work for the city or the mayor or the county council, or do you work for the people? And aren't those people supposed to be representative of the people? So it's not like a job that we all fully get. I think these are the folks that's blocking real payouts when folks are injured by officers or harmed by officers in some way. Because at the end of the day,
we are defending the city and their finance. They're our client. That could include also, a slip and fall. If it, a friend of mine had a payout this year
because kind of villains.
And let me add to the villainy. We are the prosecutors in municipal court.
Yeah.
Right. So most traffic offenses are civil, unless there's some kind of injury or alcohol involved or something. So, but it's one of the things that I'm really interested in looking at. Let me just, while we're talking about municipal court, every municipality in Milwaukee County, except the city, has court at night.
Right.
Now that's largely because of volume, and we're going to need full-time day courts to continue. But think about it from the perspective of a working person in Milwaukee, and you get a ticket. Your number one reaction is, this is not fair, and I want to contest it. But then you realize, I got to take time off of work. I got to go downtown to 6th and State. I got to sit there. It's not a very consumer-friendly operation,
for parking,
right?
Which is about the amount of the ticket.
So you start adding it up, and you say, and a lot of people just say, I'm not going to fight it. And there are a lot of consequences when that happens.
Right.
People can lose their driver's license, and you can, that system can be a trap for people, especially living, paycheck to paycheck. So, that as city attorney, you can't snap your fingers and redo all of municipal court operations. But I'm really excited to work with the judges, with the city council, to just look at what are we doing? How can we modernize it? There were a lot of things pre-pandemic that the judges were doing, walk-in Wednesdays, where they were trying to get out into the community and say, hey, if you have a municipal warrant, we'll clear it without you don't have to sit a night in jail. Everyone is safer if we clear these warrants, if we just talk to you about what's going on, help you get your driver's license back. We're all safer the more drivers that are actually licensed and trained and have insurance. So how can we use the opportunity as city attorney working with municipal court stakeholders to let's make our streets safer? That court is a big part of the process.
So I got to take a quick break, but when we come back, I'm going to try to get 2 questions in before we end. I end a little bit early on Thursdays, but the 2 questions are, biggest challenges facing the city attorney's office and your day one.
Okay.
All right, y'all, I'll be right back.
This is Martina Golan-Graves, President and CEO with Mental Health America of Wisconsin. I want to take a moment to remind you that your mental health matters. This time of year can be stressful, but we have programs and services committed to supporting our community. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping adults and kids live mentally healthier lives. We offer online screenings, outpatient therapy, and a peer-run warm line for support day and night. Call us today, 414-276-3122, or visit mhawisconsin.org to learn more about these services and more.
On April 2nd, Milwaukee Public Schools is asking you to vote for a permanent 30% property tax increase. At a time when Milwaukee families are feeling the pinch financially, it's the wrong time for a tax increase. Students and families deserve accountability. We need a comprehensive plan from MPS with real solutions, not just a new tax. Vote no to 30% on April 2nd. Paid for by CFC Action Fund as an in-kind contribution to an...
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind and hang out with your friends? Well, come visit Brownstone Social Lounge, located at 524 North Water Street, Milwaukee's premier downtown social lounge. For good vibes, great music, and delicious food, be sure to try our amazing wings and drink specials during our all-day happy hour on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And that's not all. You can also enjoy happy hour from Thursday to Sunday from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. For more information, please call 414-204-0103. Brownstone Social Lounge.
Hello, I am attorney Coral Plus, and I'm inviting you to join me for a new show here at WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM. You asked the name of the show? It's Money Talks with Attorney Coral, and it'll air each and every Thursday from 11 a.m. till 12 noon. We'll discuss financial literacy and what part Columbia Savings and Loan can play in your journey to financial freedom. Remember to join us each and every Thursday from 11 till noon, right here at 860 AM and 106.5 FM.
Hi, this is Keith Pierce, the host of Community Voice, asking you to join us Mondays through Fridays from 9 to 11. You will hear from interesting guests, Wednesday's Word, and topics and subjects that impact our beloved community.
And don't forget about me, Devon Jones, DJ The Protege, here every Friday, bringing you Free Flow Friday, Politics Nation, Sports, Haters Nation, local events, national events. And remember, while I'm here, there'll be no passes given.
That's Community Voice heard on The Voice, WNOV 860, 106.5.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee. Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant, on 860 WNOV.
She always make me dance. She always make me dance.
All right, y'all. See, you can't play my jam and then bring me back, and I only got.
Aren't you right on the freak point?
I'm just. All right, you all. I am talking to candidate for the Milwaukee City Attorney's Office, Mr. and State Representative Evan Goyke. Evan, before we went to the break, I put two things out there, and we are up against the clock, but I definitely wanted people to hear. Biggest concerns you may have right now about the city attorney's office, things that are also driving your desire to get elected to this role, and day one, if feasible,
yeah, and they're related. Day one, I'll go in reverse order. Day one is about rebuilding culture in the office, where people feel heard, supported, safe, that there's a shared mission. So that for me means more listening than talking, meeting everybody, hearing. Grant Langley served as city attorney for 36 years.
Right.
I'm not him. Terman Spencer for 4 years. I'm not him either. So we're charting a new course, but I'm not throwing out everything that Spencer did. I'm not bringing back everything that Langley did. But so listen to staff, make sure they're supported, make sure there's a culture where people want to come to work. They believe in the mission. And it's related to the first question that you asked, because over the last 3.5 years, we've lost a lot of talented, experienced people, and it's hurt the productivity of the office. Missing court dates, not having opinions and advice on
So do we have
time.
any idea, like roughly, like what kind of percentages we're down by in the
I
city
thi-
attorney's office?
I think there are 4 or 5 current openings today.
Okay.
Over the course of 3.5 years, I think 85% of the lawyers that were there before 2020 have left.
Mm.
Obviously, we've filled those positions, and so it's a newer, younger office, and so
Okay.
that also means putting in place the professional development and training, paths. Those good, smart lawyers. Let's go. Like, let's be the best law firm we possibly can be.
And I don't even know, and I'm glad you frame it that way, that people think about this as the city's law firm.
That's exactly
But
what
when
it
you
is,
start
yeah.
talking about the number and the size of the staffing, and like you said, our tentacles are everywhere.
Yeah, if we were a private law firm, we wouldn't be the biggest in Milwaukee by any means, but we
Right.
would be,
I mean,
upper mid.
yeah.
We would be
We start
advertising
talking
on the
about
side
40
of the
lawyers,
bus, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
We start talking
You'd
about
see
40
us.
lawyers,
Yeah, yeah.
and that we literally can cover any type of litigation
It's a big
that
operation.
you're interested in. Like, what's the budget for that office?
That's a great question, Michelle. I should have had that prepared. I don't know what their total budget is on an annual basis.
'Cause-
I will find that out.
Okay,
So that's a good day one question.
I'm
yeah.
just kind of curious because as we talk about, I was talking to the comptroller yesterday, and folks are like, where we squeeze our budget, we asked this department, can you do 2% less? Can you function with a couple of dollars shaved off? So I don't know that I've ever had to think about financially what it means to run that office
Right.
and
Well,
how we're impacted.
And, we talked about claims against the city. City of Milwaukee is self-insured. So when we pay out a claim,
Right, it hits.
that is our bottom
That's-
line.
yeah,
That
right, that's
we have an
us.
item in our annual budget for claims. And so, there is there's a lot of pressure.
And even helping people understand that piece, because like I said, there will be things that I'm just going to say because it's the easiest that comes to mind right now, but officer misconduct.
Sure.
And it doesn't even have to be that blatant, like we had an officer who, we talked about this case on the station, who trying to answer a call went the wrong way up a one-way street, T-bones a pedestrian, and then nobody wants to pay this pedestrian or this person for the loss of their vehicle. The city even sent the man a ticket for the street light being knocked down, and and you're like, well, wait a minute, where's the fairness? But then when you put it also in the perspective that anything we pay in some of these cases and situations, it impacts our bottom line. That's a different conversation in terms of helping people understand why
there's that tension.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's a real large, important operation. And like I said, it reaches every operation. So I look at the first couple of months, I've got to get my feet underneath me. We've got some really important big things happening in Milwaukee of the RNC,
Right.
which has a lot of potential legal issues, a lot of First Amendment issues.
As
There'll be
they talk about the fencing and where
protests,
protest,
counter protests,
Red Arrow
counter
Park,
protests.
right.
And I'm not worried about Milwaukeeans. I'm worried about people from outside being paid to come here to agitate. And then, of course, we've got the November election,
Right.
and the city attorney's office helps the elections commission administer and then defends the city should there be, again, these
Don't even think about that.
ideological challenges. So I look at the first two really big challenges when I'm elected: RNC and the making sure November is open, fair, transparent, and that we are ready should Trump and his allies come with another conspiracy theory against us.
Well, I tell you what, the time went quickly.
Yeah.
I didn't get to get questions from listeners, and I know some folks saw calls coming through. A couple folks hit me on my cell phone. So I'm definitely gonna make a commitment to try to get you back in
Please do.
before the election, if not on election day, for folks that are still on the fence trying to figure this whole thing out. But for people that want to learn more about the campaign, where should they go?
Goyke, Goyke 4MKE, Goyke4MKE.com.
Perfect. And good luck to you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you
for having me.
we'll get you back in. All right, family. Thursday is my day. I end a little bit early. I got to get out of the way for Mr. Frazier. I'm not early. I'm late. Evan was talking too much. Let me blame somebody else. All right, so this is it for me for the week. Family, be safe. Carvey, appreciate you, young bro. Thank you, King. All right, thanks, Evan. Appreciate you.
What's going on in here, girl? We gotta find us a better solution. Just let it all hang out here. Or say something real. Say something.
You're listening to WNOV 860